Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a nice day. Before we begin the video, please subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. General Hospital spoilers indicate that Jason Morgan, Steve Burton, will most likely be framed for the murder of Cyrus Renault, Jeff Kober, by WSB agent Jack Brennan, Chris McKenna. This is in order to protect the real culprit, Josslyn Jacks, Eden McCoy, who killed Cyrus in self-defense. However, Brennan is eyeing Joss for the WSB and needs to keep her safe. Josslyn will indeed be struggling with this and will want to tell someone, even though Brennan specifically told her that she cannot tell anyone. Will Josslyn confide in her mother Carly Spencer, Laura Wright, because she truly needs to unburden herself? Josslyn will either confide the truth about her role in Cyrus's death to Carly, or she will overhear Josslyn and Brennan talking about it. Either scenario is possible, and Carly will be shocked by the revelation that her daughter killed Cyrus. Carly will be angry at Brennan for keeping the truth from her, and ultimately, it will threaten their growing relationship. Meanwhile, Jason has been wrongfully accused of the crime, and is facing or about to face the charges for the crime. Josslyn has been struggling for a while at this point. Carly may try to get Josslyn to open up to her, but it will prove to be difficult. If Carly finally gets Josslyn to admit the truth, what will she do next? With Jason about to be convicted of the crime, or possibly already convicted, Carly will have to choose between protecting her daughter and saving her best friend. This decision will ultimately tear Carly apart, as she and Jason have had each other's backs way before Josslyn was even before. Carly will be faced with this impossible choice, and it will be heartbreaking to watch her struggle with this. Ultimately, Carly, as much as she loves her best friend, will choose her daughter over Jason. She wouldn't want her daughter to go down for murder. Jason will also insist that he goes down for the crime in order to protect Josslyn. He tells Carly that he must look out for his son, Danny Morgan, Asher Antonisen. However, Josslyn is still racked with guilt for Jason going down for a crime that she committed, and confesses at the last minute to save Jason. Will Josslyn be convicted of the crime, and will it be discovered that she killed Cyrus in self-defense? What do you think? Do you think Carly will learn the truth about Cyrus's death? What will Carly do when she finds out? Do you think that Carly will be forced to choose between Jason and her daughter? Keep watching General Hospital, weekdays on ABC. Carly stood in the middle of the room, her hands trembling as she looked at the evidence in front of her. Her mind was reeling, her heart racing in a way that was almost unbearable. She never thought she would find herself in this position, yet here she was. It was one of those moments where time seemed to freeze, and every decision felt like it carried the weight of the world. Her world. Her daughter, Josslyn, had been acting strangely lately, a far cry from the cheerful, energetic young woman she once knew. Carly had noticed the changes, the way she'd been keeping to herself, the late nights when she'd retreat into her room, and the quiet guilt that seemed to hang around her. But Carly had dismissed it, assuming it was the weight of growing up. She never could have imagined the truth that would soon come to light. The truth was that Josslyn had been involved in the death of Cyrus Renault, a man Carly had fought so hard against. A man who had brought pain and destruction to her family, to the people she loved. But Carly had never imagined that the bloodshed would come from her own blow in a series of revelations that had been tearing apart everything Carly thought she knew about her family. Josslyn had been a part of a plan that ultimately led to the death of Cyrus. He hadn't gone down easily, and it hadn't been clean. Josslyn had been there, with Jason, her ally and protector. But what they did wasn't just self-defense, it was murder. And now, Carly had to face the consequences of their actions. Carly's mind raced as she thought about the choices before her. Jason, her husband, her partner, the man she had come to rely on for strength and support through every obstacle. He was loyal, unwavering, and steadfast. But what he had done to protect Josslyn was something Carly wasn't sure she could ever forgive. Jason had always been the person who did whatever it took to keep those he loved safe. But was that really enough now? Was his love for her and their family enough to justify everything? She thought of Josslyn. Her daughter had made a choice too. A choice that Carly could never have anticipated. Josslyn had acted out of a desire to protect her family, to protect her mother from the ruthless wrath of Cyrus Renault. But now, Carly couldn't help but wonder if the daughter she'd raised had crossed a line that could never be undone. How could she reconcile the love she felt for Josslyn with the brutality of what she had done? Carly was caught between the two people she loved most. Jason had always been her rock, her protector, the one who had stood by her through thick and thin. And Josslyn, her baby girl, her heart, the one who had grown up in front of her eyes, now was faced with the consequences of a decision she made, one that would change their lives forever. The weight of the choice before Carly was suffocating. She could stand by Jason, the man who had been her partner through it all, or she could stand by her daughter, the person who had been her greatest joy and her deepest concern. The irony wasn't lost on her. Both choices were fraught with betrayal, and each choice would lead her down a path she wasn't sure she was prepared for. Carly's instincts screamed for her to protect her daughter. She had raised Josslyn to be strong, to stand up for what was right. But this was a different kind of right, wasn't it? It was a kind of darkness that Carly had hoped never to touch her family. Jason had done what he had to do, but Carly wasn't sure if it was something she could live with, if it was something Josslyn could live with. Her thoughts turned back to Jason, his calm demeanor never betraying the storm that must have raged inside him. He'd never been one to shy away from tough decisions, and Carly knew that Jason had acted in what he believed was the best interest of their family. But that didn't mean it was the right choice. Was killing Cyrus really the solution, or had they crossed a line they could never uncross? What would the future hold? Carly's mind was spinning with questions, and none of the answers seemed to make any sense. She loved Jason. She loved him more than she could ever put into words. But this was something different. This wasn't about protecting her, or even their family anymore. This was about a choice between right and wrong, between what could be justified and what could never be undone. And then there was Josslyn. Her beautiful, strong, intelligent daughter, who had grown up so fast, so strong in the face of the chaos that seemed to surround them. Josslyn had done what she thought was right. Carly knew that. But how could she live with the consequences? How could Josslyn live with herself after what she had done? The more Carly thought, the more she realized that there was no clear answer. She had no idea what to do. She couldn't choose between Jason and Josslyn, not without feeling like she was losing a part of herself in the process. Her love for both of them was all-consuming, but right now, that love was only making the decision harder. She could feel the weight of it, pressing down on her, making it impossible to think clearly. She needed time, but time was something they didn't have. The truth was out, and now Carly had to decide where her loyalty lay. With Jason, who had protected their family at all costs, or with Josslyn, who had acted out of love and desperation. The choice before her was impossible. And yet, Carly knew she had to make it. The lives of the people she loved most depended on it. Carly closed her eyes, taking a deep breath as the reality of the situation set in. This was the moment that would define everything. The moment that would decide the fate of her family. And in that moment, she realized something that terrified her more than anything else. No matter what she chose, things would never be the same again. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel for more updated news.